So I heard about this anime called Fairy Ranmura, I Will Help Your Heart, from a friend. They thought it was BL because there was a tag on the Annie charts or Annie list or whatever. They just listed BL. I can tell you confidently, after watching this first episode, it is not BL. But it was clearly made partially with the idea of BL fans in mind. Side note, before I continue, I am still sick, hence my little mask thing. So if I sound a little off, like I just coughed there, it's because I'm sick. So I still don't know if I'm going to have any like full comprehensive reviews this week or what's going on. I'm going to try, but I might still have like smaller videos like this because I still want to create content for you guys. But I am sick, as I mentioned in my previous update video. So, and if you haven't watched the update video, I do talk about a couple things that are coming up and whatever on there as well. And it wouldn't hurt for you to check it out. Right at the start of the episode, it really sets the tone with this like epic looking scene with these creatures. And there's this fairy guy and he's like having some kind of crisis, I guess. He's like, what is love? And then he starts really freaking out and he's like screams like, what exactly is love? And I'm just like, okay. So it's like some kind of epic drama maybe, right? No. The opening is pretty much geared towards the BL fan, if you ask me. It's so just baity. But at the same time, I couldn't tell if it was fully baiting the BLs or like the harem aspect or what. Like the genre of this, I wouldn't even call it slice of life, which is what it's labeled as everywhere else. It's like in a genre of its own. And like right after the opening, we get greeted with this weird scene of like a sloth-like monster eating very tasty looking ice cream, by the way. And this slightly hidden goth Loletta looking little girl standing next to this old butler dude. Okay, but that's not the weirdest thing about what you see. Because right in front of them is all the naked fairies of the tribes of, like in frickin' Avatar, or what's that one thing that was really popular? Winx Club. Yeah, it's all the frickin' elements. No, like, I'm not lying. It is all the elements, okay? And they're all naked. We got the hot-headed firebenders. Here, we got the water guy. And look what his last name is. It's Siren. Siren. The earth guy is probably my favorite. And honestly, he is very gay-coded. Very gay-coded, especially for the water guy. I don't think I'm seeing things when I say this. This guy's obviously supposed to be metal. I would have done like air or lightning personally, but it's obviously supposed to be metal because it's Metal clan. And then finally we got the title character from the anime, Ranmura, and he is the light fairy, which is supposed to be like the most powerful clan and all that jazz. He's like the chosen one, I guess. Anyways, they're tasked by this queen or whatever the heck she is to, form attachments with humans and steal their hearts or their attachments and hand them over to the queen and save as many people as possible. It's a very weird thing, I guess, in my opinion. Like, I still don't understand how they're stealing attachments or hearts and how that's saving, but okay. The 5 of them end up opening up a bar or cafe or something, and they're basically supposed to integrate into the human world. And like I said, they have to meet a quota on so many attachments, but they don't even understand like what attachments fully are or whatever, because they're fairies, I guess. And it's like I said, this is a weird animal. Oh, and they have 10 rules or 10 commandments that they have to follow, or they could lose their ability to be fairies and all that jazz. And these 10 commandments are partially the reason why I think that they have, BL fans in mind. Because some of them are stuff like, you can't fall in love with the opposite sex. You can't have sex with the opposite sex. You can't lust after them. Specifically the opposite sex. Like, okay, why only the opposite sex? Does that mean that these fairy boys can go and have sex with all the dudes? I guess that's allowed because it's not against the rules. But it just seems very weird that it's specifically only the opposite sex. And that is why I think that there's a little bit of baiting going on here. A little bit. I don't think they're trying to necessarily bait per se, but they're definitely doing ooh, the BL people come in and they'll be like, they can't fall in love with the opposite sex. You know what that means? But yeah. And to further, show stuff that they know that the BL fan girls and boys would be crazy for, they have this scene where the Aqua Fairy is like, the world is beautiful. And it has, the bubbles and stuff around it, just further showing how majestic, he is. And then it shows the freaking Earth Fairy who's like, no, you're the one that's beautiful. And he's blushing. He's blushing. It's not frequent. It was just really this one scene so far. But you can't tell me that wasn't put there for a purpose. Also, I don't know how legit these rules are, because that guy in this scene, I think, is the Metal Fairy. And he's clearly ignoring the rules about opposite sex stuff, because look what he's doing. I'm pretty sure that's him. He's gonna have sex with that chick. Oh, and you can't have a pretty boy anime without a group bath scene where they're naked. Of course. And of course, the water guy and the earth guy are right next to each other. Oh my gosh. And there's this weird guy who I'm pretty sure is the villain, but you don't really get to see him. I think you see him a little bit more in the opening, but don't quote me on that. He's weird, but I still don't get what the motive is. I don't get this anime. Anyways, in this episode, there's this girl and she has all these phones and she's sending horrible messages to this other female student. Horrible. Basically threatening and taunting and trolling her, basically telling her she needs to just kill herself. What the hell is this girl's problem? I'm assuming her heart is being corrupted by the villain, I'm thinking is what's going on. But either way, she is a grade A, B, if you know what I mean. A real see you next Thursday. Haha. And of course it works because the client can no longer live in this world anymore. She's just so distraught. So she decides to jump off, the roof of the school. How the hell she got on the roof of that school building or whatever the heck she is in the middle of the night, I don't know. But good on her for being able to break in. But her unalive attempt was thwarted because Ranmura senses, in the bath, that something's wrong, I guess, somehow, and is able to run to go save her. And this is where the anime gets really weird. He asks her, "Can I take your heart?" And she consents. And then they lean in as if they're gonna kiss. And they don't. It's they just pass each other and some light comes out of her and it enters him. And it gets weirder. He magical boy transforms, right? But in such a weird way, he becomes a different person, a different medium almost. I've seen a lot of people describe it as JoJo Bizarring. I've never watched JoJo Bizarre Adventure, but I've seen a little bit of what they look like, and I can agree a little bit here. But you expect me to believe that this buff, handsome stud of a dude is the same as that nerdy little boy from before? I cannot fathom this. I cannot. Also, you really gotta love this booty shot. And unfortunately, it gets weirder. I know I said that before, but it gets even weirder. Even weirder. What am I supposed to think when I go from a butt shot to this eyeball looking straight at me? What am I supposed to think? I'm weirded out. Yeah, so after transforming, Ranmura ends up in this weird, I guess, dimension with eyeballs everywhere and CDs and mannequins and all this weird crap. And you can hear the "See you next Thursday" chicks' thoughts, and they're not nice. They're not nice. But also, the client is behind this lock and key, and she's looking alarmed at all these death threats that are appearing everywhere from, the "See you next Thursday" chick. Seriously, though, so many freaking eyes. So many. Just looking deep into my soul. And this scene here was particularly almost sexual in a weird way. Like, there is such a bondage theme just hidden and not so hidden at the same time throughout this whole freaking thing. And it's just thrown in your face at the end. And I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, the death threats and the crap ends up getting turned on to the girl who was sending them originally. Ends up basically saving the day. In the background, very shadowed, we can see that the other fairies had observed the fight, and we can see a little bit of their, I guess, Winx Club JoJo Bizarre Adventure fairy forms. A little bit. You can see a little bit of it. I'm really guessing, based on the colors, that obviously the one with the red is the fire fairy, and the one with the green is the green fairy, which means at the very least that the Earth fairy doesn't change that much, unlike some of these other dudes. Anyways, the fairy queen princess is pleased with the attachment offering, and that smile and look is very evil, so I'm still doubtful on, how good this person is, because you can't smile like that and be good. It's not possible, at least not in anime. And it ends with the 4 younger fairies going back to school, and some of them are teasing Ranmura about, hey, you sure you didn't fall for your client? He's like, of course not, because that's not allowed. Although it makes it seem like towards the end that she's running towards him all happy, but she bypasses him and goes straight to this dude who has been asking her out since like the start of the episode, and then they kiss. So, love was found. Good for them. And right at the end, he asks the question that everybody asks. What is love? And then I responded with, baby, don't hurt me. And no more. Oh my god. That should become a meme from this anime. If anything should be taken from this anime, it's the Roxbury meme. In conclusion, I don't know if this anime is for me, but I had to check it out because of some of the stuff I've heard. I may watch it again when it gets dubbed, because I think this one might be getting dubbed. I'm not sure. I just don't know if it's really going to be any good. It's just really out there. And part of the problem is that it's taking itself way too seriously. Like, Cutie Defense Club Love is kind of like this, but it doesn't take itself seriously, so it's still enjoyable to watch. But this one is taking it seriously, and it's only listed as slice of life, and I wouldn't even call it that. I would almost call it like a comedy. I don't know. I guess I'd give this episode a 3 out of 5 stars still, though. I mean, watch it if you want to, but I don't know if it's for me.